Hi, I'm Sophie Andrews, and Skinit is an artificial intelligence tool I made. The goal is to detect melanoma, which is a type of skin cancer. Basically, the tool was differentiating between images of melanoma lesions, which were the cancerous kind, and nevus images, which were the benign kind. So I started this project the summer before my junior year, and then most of that summer I worked on actually building the tool, and then throughout my junior year I worked more on like the presentation of the project. So probably the biggest obstacle was finding a data set. So how Skinit works is that I first trained it on a set of images. So it had a set of labeled melanoma images and labeled nevus images, and it would try and learn the features of each. So that's sort of like how the computer would start learning about each type of lesion. So that was called training Skinit. And then to test Skinit, I gave it a set of new images and then tried to see how well Skinit could do. So that requires lots of data. So some of my original data sets I needed permission and I just couldn't get that permission. Some data sets were too small, and then I found a public data set, ISIC, the International Skin Imaging Collaboration, which had enough images that was public, so that was really good for the project. So Dr. Namova and Dr. Jones were both very helpful in this project. So Dr. Namova is the research club advisor, and she sort of like first introduced me to like doing research. And she was really helpful with like communicating my ideas clearly, as well as like the presentation of like the PowerPoints that I made and the posters that I made for science fairs.
Sophie is a very independent person. Once she starts something, she makes sure to finish it. And the role of a grown-up here, or a teacher, mentor, adult, is just to sort of help her to follow along her path.
Dr. Jones was my computer science teacher last year, and he was very helpful in terms of also like explaining the clarity of my project, but also like different ways to analyze the artificial intelligence.
Sophie is unusually gifted, and she also has a tremendous desire to learn. And so she did most of this work outside of her normal schoolwork. So she had her full school workload, and then took on learning about machine learning. She participated roughly 6-7 months with a set of students that met with me during a study hall period last year. They were all interested in machine learning. But most of the stuff she learned on her own. So it's really impressive to have a gifted student like her who can pick up stuff and read up on it and figure it out without a lot of assistance.
Sophie did all of the work by herself. My role was very small. I helped her with the paperwork, I helped her to look for competitions, make sure she meets the deadlines, and maybe if she wants to practice her presentation, so we could practice it once or twice. And I also got to go to the Intel Science Fair with her.
So how it works is there's 2 days of just like standing in front of your poster and like talking to judges that come. So I probably talked about maybe like 7 to 10 judges. So that was like the first round of judging. And then they picked 12 people to do another round of judging. So that included like further talking at your poster, but instead of talking to one judge at a time, there may be like 4 judges that I talked to. And then from that 12 group of people, they decided the 7 people to win their grand prize to compete at the International Science Fair, which I did last May in Pittsburgh.
Science Fair, they meet in different cities in the United States, but last spring they met in Pittsburgh. There were more than 1,000 projects, I think, from about 100 different countries, so it was just amazing. Of course, they had to set up their projects, there was a judging day when no one was allowed in, and they had to speak with several judges, maybe up to 9 judges. It felt like once in a lifetime opportunity for a teacher, so I can only imagine how it feels for a student.
I guess what really was interesting to me about this is she learned how to present her results to professional communities, what kinds of analysis to do on her data to make sure that the conclusions that she was coming up with were warranted. We talked a lot about the graphs that she put in her publication and how to defend the research when she was in conversation with other professionals. And so I thought what she did such a good job of was really stepping up to the plate in terms of the professionalism of writing her paper and understanding how people in the field wanted to see the results presented.
I definitely think that computer diagnostics, computer-aided diagnostics will have a big role in the future of medicine, especially this would make lives easier for doctors and make medicine more efficient. So I definitely see something like this having a big role. I don't know if I particularly plan to continue with Skinit, but definitely in college I want to pursue undergraduate research.
My advice is just simply to learn everything that you need to learn about the project that you're about to take on. So she had to learn how to use cloud computing to do some of the machine learning stuff because we didn't have computers that she could run these kinds of programs on here. She had to teach herself Python. So don't be afraid to take on the learning of additional skills. There's a lot of information on the internet. There's people you can ask. There are books you can read. So don't be afraid to take on some learning on your own. So she was capable certainly of learning from me in a classroom, but what was really impressive is her ability to learn on her own on the outside.